One Sunday, Tom told his brother Dan that he was going hiking with his friend Chris. The next Saturday, the police found Tom dead in the forest. Dan said he had been working all week. As for Chris, he was found wandering along the highway. He explained that he had gotten lost in the forest almost immediately after they arrived and just found his way home. One of the guys was lying. Who was it? You have 10 seconds to figure it out. Look at Chris. He's too well shaven for a man who spent a week in the woods. There are 5 girls in the room. Ashley is drawing. Olivia is reading. Maria is playing hide and seek, and Emma is tidying up. What's Sarah doing? You have 10 seconds to find the answer. Sarah is playing hide and seek with Maria, of course. 2 boys are standing at the seashore. One is looking south, and the other is looking north, and still they can see each other. How so? Well, they're facing each other, of course. You knew that one, didn't you? Which number is missing? 234, 23 what? A small hint, it's not 4. You have 10 seconds to do the math. Number 5 is missing. The subsequent number of 234 is 235. A woman invited her friend over for dinner. For dessert, she cut an apple in half and offered her friend one half along with some whipped cream on the side. She then ate her piece of the same apple. The friend died from poisoning, but the host survived despite eating from the same apple. How is that possible? The poison was in the whipped cream. You see a bathtub filled with water. You have a spoon, a cup, and a bucket. Which will you choose to empty the bathtub? You have 10 seconds to choose. Obviously, choose to pull out the plug. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 555. You have 10 seconds to add one number and make the equation correct. P.S. You can't cross the equal sign. $545 plus 5 plus 5 equals 555. 2 people are standing near the river. Both of them want to get to the opposite bank, but the boat can only hold one of them. And still, they both manage to get across the river. How? They were on the opposite river banks. A rich man, Mr. Thomas Green, had been kidnapped, and the detective assigned to his case found a note at the crime scene. It read, 1st of January, 4th of October, 5th of March, 3rd of June. The detective guessed that the kidnapper's name was hidden in the note. The suspects were Jack Green, the rich man's son and heir, June Green, the man's wife, and John Jacobson, Mr. Green's employee. The detective deduced the name of the kidnapper in no time. Can you do the same in 10 seconds? 1st of January means the first letter of the word January, J. 4th of October indicates the fourth letter of the word October, O. The 5th of March stands for the fifth letter of the word March, H. 3rd of June is the third letter of the word June, N. So, John Jacobson was the one that kidnapped Mr. Green. Someone entered a dark room. They brushed against something, some glass broke, and someone died. What happened? You have 10 seconds to solve this mystery. An aquarium with a goldfish got smashed. If it's raining at midnight, can you expect that in 72 hours it will be sunny? You have 10 seconds to forecast the weather. Nope. In 72 hours, it's going to be night again. A person is sitting, but even if they stand up, you won't be able to occupy their place. Where is this person sitting? 10 seconds to find the answer. The person is sitting on your lap. Hey, don't blame me. What's a security guard doing when a bird is sitting on his head? He's sleeping. They give me a job to do every morning, but when I do it, they still tell me off. Who am I? I'm an alarm clock. And yes, it's a thankless job. How can you put a whole cucumber into a glass bottle without cutting the cucumber or damaging the bottle? You have 10 seconds to find the answer. Place a baby cucumber still on its stem into the bottle. Then let it grow inside. Once a young girl dropped her ring into a cup full of coffee, but the ring remained dry. You have 10 seconds to understand how. There were coffee beans in the cup. Oh, come on now. What do you call the fear of Santa Claus? Claustrophobia. I like that one. The king told his 3 daughters to place 3 identical kettles with the same amount of water on the fire. The king promised that the husband of the daughter whose kettle would boil first would become his heir. Surprisingly, his youngest daughter's kettle boiled first. Use your 10 seconds to understand why her kettle boiled first. The other daughters kept lifting their kettle's lids to check if the water was already boiling. Oops. A man was found dead in a field of snow. The only evidence that was left was a set of footprints between 2 parallel lines. Who should the police be looking for? You have 10 seconds to find out the truth. A person in a wheelchair. A shoe shiner offers his services to passers-by completely for free, but those who agree to his offer end up paying him of their own free will. How so? The man shines one shoe for free. People don't want to look silly in just one clean shoe and have to pay for the shining of the other one. Ethan spent 3 days in the hospital and was absolutely healthy when he left. Still, he had to be carried out of the hospital. Why? 10 seconds to crack this mystery. Ethan was a newborn baby. A man called his wife from the office and told her he would be home at 8 o'clock. They didn't have any plans for that evening, and still, when he arrived at 2 minutes past 8, his wife was furious. What made her so angry? The woman thought that her husband would come home by 8 p.m., but he arrived at 8:02 a.m. the next morning. In what case will 3 boys, 1 adult man, 4 girls, and a cat remain dry under just one umbrella? They'll be dry if it doesn't rain. A wealthy man lived alone in a small cottage. He was disabled, so he had everything delivered to him. The mailman brought a letter on Thursday and noticed that the front door was ajar. Through the opening, he could see the man's body lying in a pool of dried blood. On the porch, there were 2 bottles of milk, Monday's newspaper, a catalog, some flyers, and unopened mail. When Sherlock Holmes got to the cottage, he told the police the killer was the mailman. How did he know? You have 10 seconds to figure it out. Tuesday and Wednesday's newspapers were missing from the porch. The mailman knew the man didn't need them since he was dead. A man who was standing on the sidewalk dropped a tomato from the height of 6 feet, but it wasn't damaged at all. How so? 10 seconds to unravel this mystery. The man managed to catch the tomato before it hit the ground. Why would he do that? It doesn't say here. I met a stranger yesterday and immediately knew who he was. I hadn't seen this person before, and no one had ever described him to me. He wasn't a celebrity, and he wasn't doing anything unusual. You have 10 seconds to figure out how I knew who it was. The man was the twin brother of my acquaintance. Why hasn't anyone conquered the biggest extinct volcano, even though it's not underwater and can be clearly seen? 10 seconds for you to crack this riddle. This volcano is on Mars. A father tells his teenage daughter, "You arrived very late at 3 a.m. and made us all worry a lot. I don't want this situation to repeat." His daughter, though, replies that it will never repeat. How can she be so sure? 10 seconds to figure it out. The father was talking about the birth of his daughter. Two friends left for a climbing trip, but only one returned. He said that his friend had slipped while climbing and died. However, the police arrested him, saying, "We received a call from your travel agent. We know you murdered your friend." How did they know it was a murder? Try to find the answer in 10 seconds. The man had bought a return ticket for himself and a one-way ticket for his friend. You're sitting on an airplane. There is a horse in front of you and a car behind you. What's happening? You're on a merry-go-round. An art expert paid big money at an auction for a painting that he knew didn't cost anything. He was an honest man and didn't have any criminal intentions. Why did he buy this picture? Hopefully, 10 seconds will be enough for you to guess his motives. Although the painting cost nothing, its frame was a beautiful and expensive piece of art. One chemist found out that a particular reaction lasts for 80 minutes if he's in a suit jacket, but 1 hour and 20 minutes if he's in his lab coat. You have 10 seconds to explain this phenomenon. "80 minutes is the same as 1 hour and 20 minutes. Why can't a police officer open the door in his pajamas? There are no doors in pajamas. Arrest that man. Evan called the police, saying he found his friend Liam murdered by the seashore. He said he let Liam live in his beach house in California for a week to enjoy some summer heat. But when Evan arrived from a month of work in Argentina to join his friend, he found him dead. When the police arrived, they instantly realized the man was lying. You have 10 seconds to guess why. If it was summer in California, it was winter in Argentina. But Evan was sunburnt. It means he was in California, not in Argentina. Once, a man parked his car in front of his house, came in, exited the house with a bucket of water, and poured the water on the sidewalk. 10 seconds for you to guess why he did it. He was planning to wash his car, but while he was away, his car got stolen. A small store in New York is called 7 Bells, but there are 8 bells hanging outside. The owner can easily correct this mistake, but he doesn't. Can you figure out his reasons in 10 seconds? At first, it was just a mistake, but later the owner noticed that people often came to his store to inform him about this error, and it increased his sales. A man and his sister were doing some shopping. Suddenly, the man pointed at a young man and said, "That guy is my nephew." But his sister answered, "Right, but he's not my nephew." How is it possible? You have 10 seconds to crack this mystery. The young man was the woman's son and, accordingly, her brother's nephew. A man wakes up from a 2-day coma after a car accident with a case of amnesia. Suddenly, 2 women arrive at the hospital. One of them says she's his wife, and the other says they have kids. Who's lying? You have to find the answer in just 10 seconds. The woman who says they're married is lying. She isn't wearing a wedding ring. Where can you see rivers but no water? Cities but no buildings? Forests but no trees? You have 10 seconds to crack this mystery. You can see them on a map. One town had a weird law that said all men had to be clean-shaven, but no man was allowed to shave himself. The only person who was licensed to shave them was a 40-year-old hairdresser. But who shaved the hairdresser? There was no need. The hairdresser was a woman. How can you throw a tennis ball in such a way that it'll get back to you? Just throw it up. The son of the professor's father talks to the father of the professor's son, and the professor doesn't take part in this conversation. Can you unravel this family riddle in 10 seconds? The professor is a woman, and the people talking are her brother and her husband. During a fire, a bank was robbed. The security guard told the police that he wanted to save a bag of money, but he had to crouch to tie his boot just in front of the emergency exit. At that moment, the door opened and hit him on the head. When he came to, the money was missing. Why was the security guard arrested? All emergency doors open outwards. We get it 3 times in a lifetime. The first 2 times are free, but we have to pay a lot for the 3rd time. What is it? It's our teeth. After the bank had been robbed, the police found the money in the park among cacti. After the police officers arrested all the suspects, they almost immediately figured out who was the bank robber. Can you do the same in 10 seconds? The criminal had scratches left by cacti all over his body.